In the world of modern warfare, where technology plays a key role, recent reports of AR-924 medical pager explosions have caused shock and concern. These devices, intended to facilitate communication between medical personnel, ended up in the hands of the military. What is behind these inexplicable incidents? Are they planted explosives or installed malware? In this video, we will dive deep into this puzzle, exploring all possible scenarios and analyzing the evidence to try to get to the truth. There are two videos circulating on the internet that clearly show that the explosion was precisely and narrowly localized, and that the people who were hit were literally only a meter from the target and remained unharmed. It is common knowledge that lithium batteries rarely explode and most often burning uncontrollably. What is particularly interesting is the fact that not long after this event, walkie-talkies also caused massive explosions. This already becomes very complex to organize a malware attack because it is about two independent devices that have a lot of different components and manufacturers and points to a huge organization and involvement of people beyond just Mossad. The AR-924 pager, which recently came into the limelight due to the incidents in Lebanon, is a product of the Taiwanese company Gold Apollo, but is licensed for production and distribution to Budapest-based BAC Consulting Kft. However, this does not necessarily mean anything because the Mossad could have bought the devices a year ago knowing that Hezbollah was preparing to buy them and later intercepting the Hezbollah shipment. This is the confirmed media version of the story published by Sky News Arabia, citing exclusive sources, said that the communication devices fell into Israeli hands before reaching the Lebanese Hezbollah group. The Mossad managed to intercept Hezbollah's communication devices before they were delivered to the group, sources told the channel. Sources said the spy agency planted a quantity of highly explosive material (PTN) in the device's batteries, which were detonated by increasing the temperature of the batteries. Lebanese media suggest the devices exploded after Israel breached the communication system. A source close to Hezbollah told Agence France Presse that a recent shipment of 1,000 pagers imported by the group appears to have been compromised at the exporter, with these pagers being involved in the blasts. Israel remained tight-lipped, and the Prime Minister's office distanced itself from a now-deleted social media post by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's former aide and spokesman, Topaz Luka, that hinted at Israel's responsibility for the attacks. However, is it really necessary to exclude the option of malware as a trigger? I know this is of interest to many people because we all have modern devices with similar characteristics. To find out, let's study the technical characteristics of the AR-924 pager. Battery uses a rechargeable lithium battery that, according to the manufacturer, can last up to 85 days. This information, specific to the AR-924, indicates an extremely long-lasting battery compared to most other pagers. Here we see that the AR-924 is still a special pager designed to last but with reduced functions and that the manufacturers may have optimized the software and hardware. It seems like malware could have been installed. And there lies a problem, because hardly anyone will deal with technical details and analysis of whether something is really possible, but will look to make the story commercial. Exploding a large number of devices simultaneously via malware or viruses presents an extremely complex challenge, particularly due to the following aggravating circumstances. Modern devices, even as simple as pagers, have certain security mechanisms that make it difficult for malicious code to execute. This includes protection against unauthorized access to memory, limiting the execution of code from untrusted sources and other measures that make it difficult for hackers to take control of the device. In order to achieve a simultaneous explosion, the malware would have to establish communication with all infected devices and synchronize their activation at a precise moment. This requires a reliable communication network and precise synchronization algorithms, which is especially challenging in an environment where devices may have different levels of connectivity and be subject to interference. Even if malware manages to bypass all obstacles and infect a large number of devices, its behavior can be unpredictable. There are possible errors in the code, unexpected interactions with software or hardware, or other factors that can prevent the successful execution of an attack. In short, causing a large number of devices to explode simultaneously via malware or viruses is an extremely complex endeavor that requires a high level of technical expertise, resources and luck. On the other hand, placing explosive devices is a much simpler and more reliable way to achieve the same goal, making it a much more likely scenario in the event of mass explosions unlike those in Lebanon. These are all issues that would have to be addressed if the explosions were being caused by malware. Malware could try to manipulate the battery management software to force the device to continue charging the battery after it has reached full capacity. This would lead to overheating and potential damage to the battery, which could cause thermal runaway and explosion. Most modern batteries have built-in safety mechanisms to prevent overcharging, so malware would have to find a way to bypass these protections. Short circuit. Malware could try to cause a short circuit inside the battery by manipulating hardware components or sending certain signals. A short circuit causes a sudden release of energy, which can cause overheating and explosion. However, access to the battery hardware is usually limited and protected, making this type of attack difficult. What is particularly interesting is the fact that Israeli interests must be behind the attack. Everyone agrees on that. Is there anyone who deals with safety systems for lithium batteries and is of Jewish origin? Safety mechanisms that prevent overcharging of lithium-ion batteries are usually manufactured by specialized electronic component and integrated circuit (IC) companies. Some of the well-known companies that manufacture these types of security mechanisms include Texas Instruments. This company offers a wide range of battery management integrated circuits, including those with overcharge protection. Therefore, Texas Instruments also produces integrated circuits that can be used to cause a short circuit as well as safety systems. The headquarters of the company is in Dallas, USA, and the owner or CEO is Haviv Ilan, who was born in Israel but lives and has an American passport. Theoretically, Texas Instruments could produce deliberately vulnerable battery safety systems. A vulnerability would have to be created in the design of the security components, which requires a huge number of engineers who normally work on these components, and it would mean that everyone is involved in it. It is also important to note that if it were revealed that Texas Instruments was behind it, a wealthy corporation would lose customers outside of America. There is a chance that Haviv, as head of Texas Instruments, simply transferred the technology to the Israeli Mossad, who later developed it. The next very interesting thing is that in addition to safety systems and short circuits on the circuit, the battery itself can be the trigger of the explosion. The Korean company W-Scope Corporation is one of the direct suspects for the pager explosion because it produces battery separators. The separator is a key component in lithium-ion batteries that prevents direct contact between the positive and negative electrodes. If the separator is incorrect or damaged, a short circuit can occur, which can lead to rapid battery discharge, overheating, and potentially an explosion or fire. The bottom line is that causing a malware explosion is an incredibly complex process that involves a lot of people. The explosion, on the other hand, requires much less resources. It is enough to intercept the shipment and insert an explosive with a locator and timer into it, or simply create it from the very beginning of assembling the product. The very act of detonation without fire and synchronization indicates a planted explosive inside the pager. However, this is not at all easy to do, especially if someone is expecting a shipment that is late. We cannot rule out the possibility that this is a carefully and cleverly prepared diversion in which factory components have already been installed. Technical defects for a series of several thousand motherboards for pagers and walkie-talkies. This way not many people would have to be involved because it is a limited number of devices. On top of all that, the Mossad was able, through the head of Texas Instruments, to get access to the technology of security systems and to develop them in Israel. Later to simply replace them with a sent delivery, which is the simplest and fastest variant of diversion. In the end, make your own judgment about which scenario seems the most realistic to you.